Stars stretched endlessly across the void, distant suns flickering like watchful eyes across the dark canvas. The repair vessel floated quietly, engines humming softly, carrying its weary crew toward the blue jewel that had birthed humanity. They expected fuel, guidance, and spare parts, a simple stop on a long journey. But as Earth grew larger in the viewport, shimmering with life and storms and light, a different reality unfolded. The orbit bristled not with repair stations, but with ships, sleek and formidable, far beyond any civilian fleet. Humanity had never waited idly. They had built, improved, adapted, and waited. The first transmission arrived, not with a greeting or warning, but with a casual, almost playful tone. It promised coffee, rich and hot, the kind that reminded the crew of early mornings on Earth, and upgrades, subtle enhancements that spoke of decades of innovation they had not yet imagined. And then, almost as an afterthought, it mentioned the war fleet. Not as a threat, but as a statement, that Earth had grown, evolved, and prepared for challenges the crew had only glimpsed in simulations. The scales of the galaxy shifted silently. Distant observers felt the tremor before they could understand it. As the vessel descended toward the orbital dock, the fleet moved in perfect, deliberate choreography. Each ship was a testament to human ingenuity, sleek hulls layered with unseen defenses. Engines humming with quiet power, weapon systems integrated seamlessly with AI, yet all under human command. It was a design philosophy unfamiliar to alien empires, systems that amplified human creativity rather than replaced it. The repair crew, accustomed to long journeys and cautious planning, felt a spark of awe and pride, their small role dwarfed by the quiet enormity of what had been built in their absence. Amid the bustle, robotic assistants offered upgrades, tools refined beyond recognition, consoles updated with intelligence that anticipated needs before they were spoken, and modifications that could turn a single crew member into a fleet coordinator if necessary. Yet, despite the technology, it was the human touch, the careful arrangement of components, the subtle prioritization of tasks, that defined the experience. Every ship, every engine, every weapon reflected a balance between innovation and instinct, logic and creativity, efficiency and audacity. Outside, the war fleet extended toward the edges of the system, forming a protective embrace that was as silent as it was unmistakable. Observers on distant worlds would see it and recognize the unmistakable message: humanity did not merely defend, they prepared, and they would never be surprised. Yet the fleet was not aggression, it was reassurance. Those who understood the scale of the cosmos could sense that the humans had measured every possibility, accounted for every contingency, and still found joy in mastery. It was pride tempered with intelligence, a quiet assertion that survival was only part of the equation. The repair crew floated among the docking bays, receiving gifts of upgraded engines and navigational modules, sipping coffee that tasted of home, and marveling at the systems that had evolved while they had traversed the stars. Each sip, each adjustment, each glance at the human warships towering silently above them, reminded them of a truth older than any interstellar treaty. Humanity had always adapted, always defied, and always risen when challenged. As the final module clicked into place and the crew prepared to depart, the fleet remained in orbit, a silent chorus of readiness, of pride, of potential unleashed. The message was clear: the galaxy could watch, it could calculate, it could speculate, but the humans, ever inventive, ever daring, were already steps ahead. And as the repair vessel lifted from the dock, engines glowing under the gaze of 1,000 suns, one thought settled across the crew: Earth was not a stop, not a refuel, but a declaration. Humanity was ready. The fleet moved with precision, every vessel tracing arcs across the void as though the stars themselves had choreographed the dance. Human ships shimmered with energy fields, light bending subtly around their hulls, a combination of raw power and elegant engineering. The repair crew watched from the observation deck, hearts quickening, as the magnitude of what Earth had prepared became undeniable. This was not mere defense, it was a statement of presence, a quiet but undeniable declaration that humanity had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined. Beyond the fleet, distant stars and nebulae painted the background with colors no artist could replicate. The cosmic canvas seemed to acknowledge the humans' arrival, as though the universe itself paused to observe them. Alien fleets, long accustomed to intimidation and calculation, would have recognized the imbalance immediately. These humans had not just arrived, they had evolved, adapting to the complexities of space with ingenuity that defied expectation. Every engine pulse, every shield resonance, every subtle maneuver reflected decades of hidden preparation and uncompromising foresight. Inside the ships, crew members moved with confidence, their hands deftly adjusting panels and consoles upgraded while the repair vessel had been en route. Tools now anticipated needs, systems suggested solutions with near-intuitive logic, and diagnostic screens pulsed with information that only humans could fully comprehend. It was a symphony of technology and instinct, a combination of creativity and engineering that no AI alone could replicate. The fleet's silent coordination felt alive, responsive, as if each ship was an extension of the human mind rather than a machine obeying commands. As the repair vessel aligned with Earth's orbital docks, the true scale of the upgrades became apparent. Not only were engines enhanced and hulls reinforced, but weapon systems had been reimagined. They were designed to protect, to project power without needless aggression, to respond instantly yet remain under human control. The crew realized that the humans on Earth had anticipated countless scenarios, crises that even the most advanced alien civilizations could not have foreseen. Every adjustment was precise, every configuration intentional, every silent hum a testament to audacity married with foresight. From orbit, the repair crew observed a small shuttle depart toward a nearby asteroid. Returning moments later with rare resources integrated seamlessly into the fleet. It was a demonstration of efficiency, adaptability, and scale, a microcosm of humanity's ability to wield influence across space without tipping into chaos. Even the coffee, shared and warm, felt symbolic, a reminder that while humans had mastered the cosmos, they retained the small comforts that had defined them for millennia. As the vessel prepared to resume its journey, the fleet extended its protective perimeter, a moving barrier of readiness that stretched toward the stars. The repair crew understood now that Earth's upgrades were more than gifts, they were a promise. In the event of conflict, humanity would not merely respond. They would anticipate, adapt, and redefine the rules of engagement. The quiet pride of the fleet was palpable, a hum of confidence that resonated across the void, and as the repair vessel lifted off, engines bright against the darkness, one realization anchored itself in the minds of all aboard. Humanity had become a force unlike any other, calm, clever, and unshakable, ready to meet the galaxy on its own terms. Beyond the orbit of Earth, the void stretched endlessly, but the presence of the human fleet transformed it from emptiness into a stage. Ships moved with flawless coordination, their hulls reflecting starlight as though the galaxy itself had become a mirror for human ingenuity. Engines emitted a quiet, potent hum, the vibrations resonating across the decks, a subtle reminder that each ship was more than metal and circuitry, it was an extension of the human mind, an instrument of anticipation and creativity. Every maneuver was deliberate, yet fluid, each trajectory calculated not just for efficiency but for elegance. The repair crew watched from their vessel, eyes wide, as entire sectors of space seemed to bend subtly to the human's will. Gravity wells that had once made navigation treacherous aligned in patterns no one had expected. Rogue asteroid fields shifted, magnetic storms dissipated, and the sensors picked up a faint resonance that hinted at something deeper. The human presence was rewriting probabilities in real time, guiding the natural chaos of the cosmos into harmonious order. The crew realized with awe that Earth had prepared not just for defense, but for mastery, a quiet reshaping of reality that required no weapons, no threats, only intellect, creativity, and relentless resolve. Alien observers stationed on distant outposts began to detect anomalies. Entire fleets paused, sensors recalibrating, AI calculations faltering under data that refused conventional understanding. The humans were not merely efficient, they were unpredictable by design, anticipating every variable with a mix of logic, intuition, and audacity. A supernova cluster that had threatened trade routes was subtly stabilized. A magnetic storm that had imperiled an entire system dissipated without human lives even at risk. The galaxy had seen power before, but it had never witnessed intelligence wielded as both sword and shield, tempered by insight and tempered by restraint. Inside the fleet, humans moved seamlessly between stations, interfacing with systems that had learned to anticipate their thought patterns. The ship's core adjusted instantly to subtle commands, the navigation matrix reconfiguring without input, and defensive protocols layered with predictive precision. Yet it was never mechanical alone. Every solution bore a human signature, a touch of improvisation, a flash of humor, a small, elegant tweak that no algorithm could reproduce. The contrast between raw computation and human ingenuity became apparent. The fleet was alive with purpose, guided by minds unafraid to act where others hesitated. As the repair vessel continued past the inner planets, the human fleet extended outward, forming a protective lattice that enveloped not only Earth but nearby systems. It was not a blockade, it was a shield, a declaration that humanity's reach had grown, that their readiness extended beyond mere survival to the orchestration of cosmic stability. Nearby colonies and allied stations reported unusual readings, energy flows realigned, stellar drift slowed, and communication stabilized across hundreds of light-years. Every movement was subtle, precise, and utterly transformative. Humanity had become both architect and conductor of the galaxy's complex symphony. The repair crew finally understood the true scope of the upgrades they had received. Each enhancement, each modification, each careful improvement was a seed of mastery. Engines could now anticipate stellar currents, weapon systems could project defense without engagement, shields could distribute energy to stabilize entire planets, and navigation systems could predict hazard centuries in advance. Even small tools hummed with quiet intelligence, reacting instantly to human touch, extending the capabilities of every crew member exponentially. And yet, for all this power, there was no arrogance, no show of dominance. The human fleet moved with patience and purpose, a calm certainty that resonated across the void. The galaxy could calculate, speculate, and strategize, but it could not replicate the blend of creativity, audacity, and foresight that had turned a fleet of vessels into instruments of cosmic balance. As the repair vessel adjusted its course to resume its journey, engines glowing against the dark, the crew looked out over the human fleet, stretching from orbit into the stars, and realized the staggering truth. Humanity had evolved beyond mere survival, beyond defense or conquest. They had become a force that shaped reality itself, and somewhere deep in the void, as distant alien eyes tried to comprehend it, the humans simply continued forward, calm, clever, and unstoppable, carrying their fleet, and the promise of Earth, into the endless night. Beyond the fleet's protective lattice, the void seemed suddenly smaller, compressed by the presence of human ingenuity. Ships glided with silent precision, their engines leaving trails of faint, iridescent energy that bent subtly around them, hinting at the advanced shielding that made them almost untouchable. The repair vessel floated among them, dwarfed by the scale, yet intimately connected to the hum of coordinated systems, each ship reacting not just to commands but to the instincts of its crew. Distant stars and nebulae served as a backdrop, their colors muted yet vibrant, painting a canvas that highlighted every movement. Even alien sensors, calibrated for speed, firepower, and mass, struggled to parse the fleet's subtle strategies. Every vector, every course correction, every energy pulse seemed calculated to anticipate not only environmental hazards but potential threats that no observer could yet perceive. Humanity had not merely prepared, they had predicted. Inside the ships, crews moved with confidence born of skill and adaptation. Systems that once required careful monitoring now anticipated needs, suggesting adjustments, and fine-tuning themselves in real time. Weapons arrays were primed not for aggression but for precision, engines optimized for efficiency and evasion, shields layered with adaptive modulation capable of responding to unseen phenomena. The quiet discipline of the humans was a stark contrast to the complexity of the machinery around them. Here, creativity and instinct amplified technology rather than being constrained by it. As the fleet extended toward nearby star systems, the repair crew noticed subtle anomalies in the cosmic background. Rogue asteroid clusters adjusted their orbits, magnetic storms seemed to dissipate slightly ahead of approaching vessels, and gravitational eddies smoothed as though the fleet's presence resonated through space itself. Each adjustment was invisible to the casual eye but profound in its effect, a demonstration of the quiet mastery humans wielded over a chaotic universe. The crew realized that every upgrade, every modification, every system was a testament to foresight and patience. These enhancements had been designed not for spectacle but for survival, efficiency, and adaptability. Every ship, every engine, every console reflected a philosophy: humanity prepared for the worst, adapted to the unpredictable, and turned even the vast, hostile expanse of space into a canvas for their ingenuity. And as the repair vessel continued its course, aligned with the human fleet, one undeniable truth crystallized for all aboard: humanity was no longer simply a species among stars. They had become a force, a presence that reshaped the void itself, calm, intelligent, and utterly unassailable in their quiet confidence. The void beyond Earth had never seemed so alive. Human ships glided through it like sentinels, their hulls glinting in the faint starlight, engines pulsating with restrained power that hinted at forces far beyond what any alien fleet could anticipate. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, blending stealth, speed, defense, and firepower into a singular, purposeful form. The repair crew, still aboard their small ship, felt dwarfed by the scale, yet exhilarated by the precision and grandeur of the fleet surrounding them. This was no mere show of strength. It was the culmination of decades, perhaps centuries, of hidden preparation. Humanity had learned, adapted, and waited, and now it revealed its true measure. The fleet's movement was more than tactical, it was almost artistic. Vessels adjusted their courses in subtle arcs, weaving intricate patterns across the void. Gravity wells were anticipated and avoided before sensors even flagged them. Asteroid fields parted, not violently, but as though the universe itself acknowledged the human's authority. Sensors detected fluctuations in cosmic radiation, magnetic storms being subtly altered by the fleet's presence, stabilizing entire systems with a quiet, invisible hand. Every maneuver, every adjustment, every silent pulse of energy was a testament to human foresight and ingenuity. On board the repair vessel, crew members marveled at the upgrades. Engines now harmonized with the subtle gravitational currents of nearby planets, navigation modules predicted hazards light years ahead, and weapon systems had been recalibrated for precision and efficiency without overstepping the command of their human operators. The AI-assisted systems worked in concert with human intuition, creating a partnership where logic amplified creativity rather than replaced it. The crew realized that these enhancements were not gifts, they were a statement. Humanity had anticipated everything and accounted for all contingencies. Leaving no space for uncertainty or hesitation, as the fleet extended outward, it formed a lattice across nearby star systems, a protective shield and a subtle warning all at once. The humans' presence reshaped probabilities, rogue asteroids were nudged into safer trajectories, energy flows within planetary magnetospheres subtly balanced, and communications networks stabilized across vast distances. Even the smallest shuttle, delivering resources and upgrades to remote outposts, moved with an efficiency that seemed effortless yet was impossibly precise. The galaxy watched, calculated, and faltered before the sheer ingenuity it could not predict. Alien observers tried to interpret the fleet's actions. But human strategy defied conventional logic. There was no predictable hierarchy of aggression, no standard sequence of engagement. Humans anticipated scenarios that had never been imagined, reacted in ways that no simulation could replicate, and adapted instantly when conditions shifted. Entire colonies that had been vulnerable now found themselves shielded without knowing the mechanics of the protection. It was an unspoken lesson: humanity had evolved beyond mere survival, transcending the expectations of even the most advanced civilizations. The repair crew moved through the upgraded modules, testing systems that now seemed almost sentient in their responsiveness. Even the smallest tool anticipated their actions. And diagnostic systems suggested adjustments before the crew could request them. Engines hummed in perfect balance, reaction control systems aligned with instinctual commands, and defensive arrays scanned the void with predictive precision. Yet, despite this incredible sophistication, it was the human touch, the quick thinking, the subtle improvisation, the spark of creativity, that transformed potential into reality. Every enhancement was amplified by the mind of its operator, a partnership that no AI, no matter how advanced, could duplicate. As the fleet continued its silent march across the stars, the repair vessel finally left the safety of orbit and entered the wider expanse. Planets, moons, and asteroid belts slid past, each one a canvas for human ingenuity. The presence of the fleet reshaped the very fabric of space, not through brute force, but through subtle control, anticipation, and careful orchestration. The message was unmistakable: humanity was no longer a species to be measured by conventional standards. They were architects, innovators, and strategists, capable of mastering chaos with ingenuity and calm certainty. Even as distant alien fleets detected the expansion, confusion rippled through their command structures. Predictions failed, calculations faltered, and assumptions crumbled. Humans had not merely arrived, they had redefined the rules of engagement without firing a shot. The galaxy had encountered intelligence, cunning, and audacity in many forms, but never this combination of foresight, creativity, and quiet dominance. The repair crew, sipping the coffee that had accompanied their upgrades, glanced at one another in awe. Every system, every maneuver, every quiet hum of the fleet above them reflected centuries of human pride, patience, and perseverance. And in that moment, it became clear, humanity was not just prepared for the galaxy. They had become a force that reshaped it entirely, a presence both comforting and terrifying, capable of unparalleled defense and unstoppable ingenuity, as engines flared and the fleet extended toward uncharted systems. One thought settled over every observer: human and alien alike, Earth had prepared for this moment, and humanity would meet the universe with calm confidence, unwavering creativity, and a defiance that no force could predict or overcome. And through the void, in quiet determination and unshakable pride, humanity moved forward. The galaxy had never witnessed such calculated audacity. Humanity's fleet now stretched across light years, each vessel moving as an extension of a singular purpose, yet guided by countless individual minds, each capable of improvisation and insight. Alien observers, even those accustomed to advanced tactics and overwhelming firepower, faltered. Predictions failed. Simulations collapsed under the sheer unpredictability of human ingenuity combined with precision. Every maneuver, every subtle course correction, every redistribution of energy across shields and engines revealed a species that had long transcended the simple metrics of power. Within the fleet, humans operated with seamless efficiency. Systems anticipated their needs, but the spark of creativity remained theirs alone. Weapons recalibrated with elegant speed, engines optimized in real time, and navigation arrays adjusted to gravitational anomalies and cosmic hazards before they could pose a threat. Yet, no machine could replace the human mind's intuition, the ability to improvise when the improbable became reality. Even as alien fleets attempted to trap or predict them, humanity's responses were both clever and audacious, turning potential danger into opportunities for mastery. Planets, moons, and space stations within reach of the fleet felt the subtle influence of human presence. Magnetic fields stabilized, rogue debris shifted harmlessly, and communication arrays synchronized across vast distances without visible intervention. The galaxy itself seemed to acknowledge their presence, a silent testament to the human's ability to bend probabilities with intellect and foresight rather than brute force. Each victory was quiet, almost invisible, yet absolute. The repair vessel moved among the giants of the fleet. Small yet integral, its crew humbled but inspired. Every system they interacted with had been enhanced, every tool anticipating their thoughts, every procedure elevated by the partnership of human and machine. It was mastery in its purest form, a demonstration of ingenuity, adaptability, and restraint. No single ship could be pinpointed as the most powerful. The fleet functioned as a living organism, responsive, intelligent, and unstoppable. Alien forces recalculated endlessly, attempting to understand, to predict, to strategize. But the humans had anticipated anticipation itself. They had prepared for every contingency, adapted to every unknown, and innovated where logic failed. By the time an adversary realized what was happening, humanity had already shifted the battlefield, claimed the initiative, and redefined the rules, and yet, amid all this power and precision, there was no arrogance. The human fleet moved with calm, deliberate purpose, a quiet reminder that their strength lay not only in their technology but in their minds, their foresight, and their relentless resolve. As the fleet advanced into uncharted regions, beyond even the most ambitious maps of the galaxy, it became clear, humanity had stepped beyond survival, beyond mere defense, and had become a force that shaped the cosmos itself. Unseen, unstoppable, and utterly unyielding, and somewhere in the silence of space. The final thought echoed quietly through every human vessel: the galaxy would remember Earth. The stars blinked. Humanity smiled.